terrible. More frightening than I ever thought possible. I can hardly believe what has just happened.
It is Godzilla, Monster of Monsters, apparently also known in Japan as Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which is probably a better title, but hey, what the fuck do I know? Hello everybody, we're here to look at kinda sorta one of my favorite games when I was a kid, just by virtue of the fact that I was a huge, massive fucking Godzilla fan from, you know, like age 8 onward. As a kid, I was obsessed from the first time I saw my first Godzilla film, which I feel like maybe Godzilla vs. King Kong, maybe Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, not quite sure. But we are gonna look at this game, which is, as you'll find out, an interesting game, to say the very least. Here's the lore, here's the story. You got a nice little 8-bit solar system in the background. In 2000 XXX AD, that's the future, folks, the Earth receives a declaration of... we're waiting. War. Declaration of war from those evil bastards from Planet X. Look at those ships. I'm going to tell you a little about those ships in a second. With the entire solar system as the battleground. Oh, look, there's King Ghidorah. Battlefield. Excuse me. Coming up. I can see it coming. Battlefield. Those ships are actually not bad guy ships. It's a funny thing. Neither is that space station. Bloody combat, not Mortal Kombat, just bloody combat will begin. Look at all those ships. That's what I call a fucking invasion force. Reminds me of Mars Attacks. Bloody combat begins between space monsters and our savior, our guardians, Godzilla and Gamera. I'm just kidding. Mothra. The giant moth god. Yeah, those ships are actually good guy ships from different Toho films. So, right out of the gate, you notice that I'm going to the password screen and not just starting a new game, and I'll tell you why. This game, while solid, it has its finer points, also happens to be super repetitive. So because of that, I'm not going to put you guys through watching the entire game. Also, I don't personally necessarily feel like talking over the entire game because that would take quite a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a handy-dandy password to take me to near the end of the game, so I could just show you a nice selection of the levels, stage types, and most importantly, the thing that's always most important about Godzilla games, the fucking monster battles. So here you go. This is Planet X. And this is the basic setup of Godzilla Monster of Monsters. You have this hexagonal chessboard, this hexagonal battlefield, and Godzilla and Mothra, your two playable monsters. Godzilla, because he's a land creature, can only move 2 spaces at a time. Mothra, because she can fly, can move 4 spaces at a time. I have read that in the original Japanese version it was more fucked, because Godzilla could only move 1 space, and oh Jesus Christ, hold on. Mothra could only move 2 spaces, so they actually upped that in the international versions. This is the basic gameplay. It is, you know, it's not great. It's decent. It's definitely not a platformer. I don't know that I would call it an action game. I suppose so. You'll notice that giant looming Death Star in the background. I suppose that's supposed to be Planet X. Even though in the movie that Planet X is from, my personal favorite Godzilla movie, which is called Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, also known in Japan as Invasion of the Astro Monster, it was actually just a little tiny planet. It wasn't a fucking Death Star planet. But, you know, creative license. So the way this game works is that you battle throughout the solar system, and the different worlds that you go to are like Earth, Mars, you know, Saturn. I don't know about Jupiter. Maybe Jupiter. Definitely Uranus. Possibly Venus, which is going backwards. Neptune, Pluto, and then Planet X. And it's funny too, because even on Earth, you actually look like you're on the moon, because you see Earth, the planet Earth, in the background. Every planet you're on, you see the planet up there in the background, like you're on one of its moons. It's an odd thing. Now, as you probably noticed, that I'm just getting inundated with shit tons of enemies, and those things right there are the deadliest. Those glowing horseshoe fuckers, they can kill you outright if you don't know how to avoid them a little bit. There's a monster turn. It has the mildest elements of a strategy game going on, because you have to take turns, monster turn, your turn, etc. This is one of the weirder stage types in the game. It's a fire stage, or whatever you want to call it. And there is a goofy-looking volcanic dragon thing, and you have to fight living fucking volcanoes, and it's some crazy shit. This game has some weird shit going on. That's for sure. There's flaming phoenix things, flying goddamn horseshoes. As Godzilla, those things are very hard to avoid. And if you let them hit you straight on, they will go through you very slowly and drain your entire fucking life bar. Even at level 15 or 16, which is the highest you can get in this game. It's still dangerous as fuck. But yeah, an odd thing about this game is the boss battles, which are cool, and they're the main event. This is the main feature. This is what people come for, not the stages. It's kind of like watching a monster movie as a kid. You just want to get to the monster scenes. You don't give a shit about all the talking. The battles are not great. The battle, system is not great. And I just fucking toasted Gazora, who I did not recognize as a kid, and there's a reason for that. It's because he's not from a Godzilla movie. He's from another Toho movie from 1970 called Space Amoeba. About a killer space cloud that rides a Earth rocket back to Earth, and then spills out and turns innocent sea life on a remote island into fucking giant monsters. This is another monster that I didn't recognize because he's also not from a Godzilla movie, even though I hadn't seen all of the Godzilla movies as a kid. This is Mogira. He's actually from an alien invasion movie from Toho in the 50s called the Mysterians, and he was their killer robot. And I just killed his ass. Because Godzilla level 16 is some shit. So we're going to play Mothra now. I'm going to show you a little bit about what Mothra is all about. But I'm not going to fucking show you all the levels that she has to go through. Simply because that's redundant. There's no point showing both monsters going through all the same fucking levels. That would take too long. A funny thing about this game is that a lot of the little enemies on these little stages are actually good guy, stuff from the movies. They're actually not like alien invader fucking ships or anything. Like, those green and yellow round fucking ship things that attack you are actually the Super X or Super X2. A human-made mega weapon to fight Godzilla in Godzilla 1985. This stage is cool because it's like an alien city, and this stage specifically is the only stage in the game I think where those little UFOs are found, and they are actually the Planet X UFOs. That's what the Planet X ships look like in Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. However, in the movie, this kind of domed city ship did not exist. The people of Planet X actually had to live underground. Didn't have much water. Which is why they wanted to take over Earth, because Earth has plenty of water. That space station up there in the background, I think, is also from the movie The Mysterians. There's a ship that flies by in most of these levels. Right there, that's the SY-3. I think that's actually on your side, because it drops those flares. They give you health. One of the few, good guy ships to help you out. Everything else is fucking just a constant wave after wave after wave trying to fucking hit you. Which is another unique and not amazing element of this game. It's just getting fucking shit on by these enemies. Now this guy is actually from a Godzilla movie, although not one that I got to see as a kid. I had to wait till my teens to finally rent a copy and see it. This is Hedorah from the movie Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, which was, technically speaking, the first 70s Godzilla film. And I personally like it. It's very weird, but I liked Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. It has a certain weird fucking charm. And the director definitely had, he was trying to get out, an anti-pollution message, which is cool. And there you go, Godzilla just defeated pollution, because Hedorah, the Smog Monster, is the personification of human pollution. Just like Godzilla is the personification of ignorant human nuclear testing. Some deep messages hidden in these fucking movies. This is another monster I didn't recognize because, again, not from a Godzilla film. Godzilla, the original Godzilla, was so popular, it had one sequel in the 50s, but that probably didn't do too well. Godzilla Raids Again, so they didn't make one for a while, but they did make a Mothra film, they made a Rodan film, who is not in this game, sadly, and then this guy, who just fucking died, Varon, had his own little film, which he's really obscure.
Save the city now.
He would, however, appear later for 2 seconds in a fight scene in the movie Destroy All Monsters. Gotta move Mothra up the map. Look at that. So, if you hadn't noticed, true to life, or true to the movies, Mothra is formidable, but she's definitely weaker than Godzilla. To be fair, most of the monsters in the Godzilla films tend to be weaker than Godzilla. They presented him a challenge, but in the end he's fucking Godzilla, and he's a engine of destruction, and he just wrecks their shit. Mothra is not as much of a shit wrecker, especially in this game. Godzilla gets hit by shit, but he just kind of shrugs it off, whereas Mothra, if you notice, every time she gets hit by anything, she has major knockback, and so that can be a real issue when you're getting assaulted by just tons of shit. There's another oddity. You're fighting, like, basically human tanks, even though they're supposed to be Planet X shit. I think the developers basically just tried to throw everything in the kitchen sink they could think of from Godzilla films in here. Although I will point out that this shit, like almost everything on this level, these weird plant creatures, that glowing horseshoe asshole, these little moai head weird things, none of that shit is in any movie ever. That's all just made up shit for the games. If you're at a lower level, this kind of stage, this jungle or whatever kind of stage in particular, can be some rougher stuff. It can be an asshole. It can be a real piece of shit. But I started out as a little kid, becoming obsessed for several years with dinosaurs. And that kind of evolved by the time I was 8 or 9. Into an equal or even greater obsession with monsters. Speaking of monsters, here's another little monster who was not originally from a Godzilla film. They have several in this game if you hadn't noticed. This is Baragon, and he actually was the enemy monster in a little-known film to most people called Frankenstein Conquers the Earth, or in Japan, Frankenstein vs. Baragon. And you notice, how does that happen? Well, they had a crazy plot where a German scientist, Nazis had basically found the remains of Frankenstein's monster during the World War II era, and because Hitler Germany was falling, because Nazi Germany was on the downtrend, they transferred a fucking hand or heart. That was it, a heart. The still beating heart of Frankenstein's unkillable monster, they transferred that to Japan. And Japan was studying it right in Hiroshima, right when Hiroshima got bombed by the US, tragically. You know, there you go. So they kind of made up that Frankenstein's monster evolved from that heart. It regenerated into a child, a feral kid, a Franken kid. And that Franken kid eventually grows up into a gigantic, human Japanese-looking Frankenstein guy, who's actually not that bad. And spoilers, he winds up fighting this guy, who is attacking the countryside, burrowing underground, and poor Frank gets blamed for the destruction he's causing, and people are trying to kill him, the Japanese government's trying to kill him, and then they discover, oh shit, it's this other monster that exists. I just gave you the entire plot of the film. Baragon's alright. He's a unique monster because he can burrow underground, and for long distances. Which, you know, I'm sure that would cause some serious shit in real life, but, you know, hey. Here is one of the cooler monsters from the Godzilla series. He debuted in the 70s. He is a cybernetic monster from space, Gigan. And if you hadn't noticed, he has a crazy-ass buzzsaw in his belly. And I just kicked the shit out of his face. With Godzilla, some of the strategy for some of these monsters is literally just jump kick him in the fucking face. Don't fuck around. And here is Mechagodzilla. And with Mothra, somewhat with Gigan and Mogira, but mainly with Mechagodzilla, if you can find the sweet spot right under their chin, there's a certain spot where if you stay far enough away, their beam can't hurt you. And so you just cheap it up and keep shooting him with Mothra's weird little eye beams. The problem is, Mothra's weird little eye beams, not that powerful. So it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn battle. Mechagodzilla, of course, is from the mid-70s film Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. When I bought a VHS tape of it as a kid, it was called Godzilla vs. the Cosmic Monster. trying to make it sound like a different monster, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's Robo Godzilla, you know. Look at him trying to box me. He's actually one of the harder monsters in the game. I just happen to be pretty good. Fighting him is actually easier with Mothra. It just takes a long time. So I'm gonna try and beat his ass with Godzilla instead. Tell him to fuck off a little bit. It helps that I'm level 16. Boom! Thermonuclear radioactive breath, which Godzilla got from absorbing radiation from human nuclear testing. Take that, humans. There he is. There's the king of the evil monsters. Fucking King Ghidorah. Write that down. If you wanna know where to go, write that down. Pause the screen, write that down. Like, comment, subscribe. Moving right along, we're gonna take the battle to the streets. Now, speaking of, I mentioned before, Jesus Christ, you see, that a lot of these enemy ships are actually good guy human ships from different movies. And this right here is the Gotengo. It's not a spaceship, it's actually a submersible ship called the Gotengo that I just wrecked from a movie called Atragon, which does not feature Godzilla at all. And here's King Ghidorah. He's an asshole. True to the movies, he's the toughest of the enemy monsters Godzilla ever faces. At least in the old Showa era movies. What an ass fucker. Jesus. He is a three-headed space dragon. He's one of the only monsters that's noticeably bigger than Godzilla, at least in the old films. And he shoots. I'm not giving him much chance to right now. Although he also seems to like to just beat me up with his heads. But he shoots lightning out of his mouth, which is actually described in the movies as being, quote-unquote, gravity beams. So, yeah, he affects gravity with lightning from his mouth. I don't know. He's probably my favorite enemy monster, just because he's cool. He's a giant dragon thing. He was originally, when they were making Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, he was actually originally going to be a colored monster with, like, rainbow-colored butterfly-looking type wings, but they decided to paint him gold instead. He became a golden monster, which is more memorable and less silly. I mean, a rainbow monster would be cool, but it would also be funny. I think people can take a gold monster more seriously somehow. He's a bling monster. And because he wrecked my shit a bit, I'm going to back off. And off-screen, I, got some of Godzilla's health back. Although, I'm going to take a crack at this asshole with Mothra. Although, that's not generally the favorable plan, because Mothra is not as powerful as Godzilla. Can't take a hit as well. As you can see, even Mothra's level 16 bars are still smaller than Godzilla's. That little attack right there is actually in the Godzilla vs. Mothra movie, when she's dying, trying to protect her egg from Godzilla. Her, final attack is to release poisonous powder. And apparently, Ghidorah had a fucking allergy to it. So there you go. I just whooped all the monsters in the game. Now, after you have to take over the enemy headquarters, even if you beat the final monster, you still have to, clear the board and move the monsters there. Just another one of these levels, nothing special. You'd think they would have made a unique type of level for the enemy base, but nah, it's just another Death Star trench. So I'll punch some shit. Why not? That's what Godzilla's good for. He just wrecks shit. And yeah, that's why I only showed you guys Planet X, is because this is it. All the level types that you saw those are the level types in the game, and you just have to go through that like 7 or 8 times. And, you know, it's a decent game, but it's definitely, you know, it helps if you're a Godzilla fan. You know, there's the Super X. It helps if you're a Godzilla fan. It helps to have that nostalgia and go, oh, look, there's that guy from that movie, and there's that thing from that movie. Because otherwise, you might not have the patience. Jeez. You might run out of patience with this kind of game. There you go. Occupy enemy headquarters. Boom. You might recognize that image. And here is one of the cooler endings, at least to me as a kid, on the NES library. There's them just chilling on the moon somehow. No problem, they can breathe, fine. Looking at the Earth. And here is a super slow scroll of the ending text. War is over. Godzilla crushed, that's fucking right, the invaders from Planet X. Peace has returned to the Earth. After the fierce battle, the wounded monsters, Godzilla and Mothra, are resting until the day they rise again for the sake of mankind. And on devastated Planet X, a message is left for Earthlings. To our deepest regret, we must admit defeat. This time. We almost won, but we did not know Godzilla was such a powerful foe. Gone is our legion of monsters, the strongest force in the universe. Never again shall we see Ghidorah or Gigan. Having lost our base, we now embark on a journey to nowhere in the universe. But, Earthlings, save your rejoicing over the victory which Godzilla brought to you. Our journey will not last forever. We, the people of Planet X, will never give up our plan to invade the Earth. We promise that we will organize a second, even a third legion of space monsters and destroy you in future. We shall not fail. This is our challenge to you. The last days of the Earth are coming soon. Earthlings, prepare to die. Now, if that isn't a fucking weird ending, what is, right? Starts off like, hey, you won the day, you beat the monsters' asses, Planet X fucked off, peace on Earth, monsters are gonna take a nap. Oh, by the way, yeah, Planet X will be back to wreck your shit someday. Just, you know, chill out. Here is the cast of all the monsters. Ghidorah, the giant cuttlefish. Mogira, the giant disco robot. Baragon, the ground-burrowing monster. Varon, the flying squirrel thing. He can fly in the movie a little bit. Smog Monster. Ghidorah. Gigan, the buzzsaw. Mecha Godzilla, the Robo-Boxer. And King Ghidorah, who's just an asshole. There's Mothra, weak but still cool looking. And of course the fucking man, the king of the monsters, Godzilla, Gojira. And on a funny little side note, they didn't actually show the company that made this game, the developers, in the credits for the international version. It's actually by some company called Compile, but they didn't credit them for some reason. So that was Godzilla Monster of Monsters. I would certainly not say that it's anywhere on my top favorite list of all time of games, but it was definitely a game I loved growing up, because I loved Godzilla so much, and I would eat up Godzilla anything. and it just so happened that there was this decent action-ish game that I owned on NES, and I fucking totally ate it up because I recognized a lot of the shit from the movies, although a lot of the shit was from movies I would not see until my teens, or even adult years. But I loved fucking Godzilla and monsters big time growing up, still do, and there's not much else to say. I love them because they're awesome, and I love Godzilla the most because he's the fucking king. Hail to the king, baby. See you next time.